Good morning and welcome, Pick Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason on this Monday. I hope it finds you well out there. I hope you all had a fantastic weekend. We've got a lot going on. Matter of fact, right now, as we speak, the trial with the TSSB with Texacoin is in progress. Bobby is testifying as I speak, so I was tuning into that. You can follow that. The judge in the case allowed for us, per our request, to have it streamed on the Texas State Security Board's YouTube channel. So if you are so inclined and want to watch the action, so to speak, you can do that. If you need the URL, I guess that's what they call it, right? You can call it, but I think you go to YouTube and punch up Texas State Security Board, and I think it would come up. Again, we've been talking about this for a long time. We are extremely confident in the outcome, but you know what? This is why they have the trials and the hearings, and we'll see exactly what gets ruled on with this tonight, 6 o'clock. Barrio Brewing, right at the Deer Valley Airport. It's inside the Deer Valley Airport. We are having a huge Texacoin, Iskander, and Nectar Pay. That is the one of the many utilities that are coming to support the Texacoin project. We will now. I guess I have to say, as long as UPS delivers it when they're saying they're delivering it. I'm supposed to have this stuff here in the next couple of hours. We'll have it on display. You guys are going to want to make sure you are in attendance. I know that it has been, a tough, 8 months for Texacoin. We are, and I think you're already seeing it, right? Things are starting to turn here. And as the utility comes out, which, by the way, just in case people don't know, the utility is not part of this court proceeding. Matter of fact, really, the only thing the court proceeding is about is whether or not we can continue to offer, because right now we haven't been, offer Texacoin packages to people in Texas. That is essentially what this trial is all about. But having said that, guys, you got to learn what you're doing. If you missed, and for, you know what, I'll say this. I had no interest in selling any of my Texacoin a year ago, right? And of course, a year and a month ago, something like that, maybe a year and 2 months ago, we got up to like $7. But obviously, then we saw it go down to like 7 cents. Now it's like 33 cents. And we think we're on our way to much higher levels. Let's be more prepared this time around. Some of you, and again, some of you may have no interest in selling any. Matter of fact, well, look at me, right? I've been doing nothing but buying. I bought again this weekend. But some of you may decide, hey, you know what? If you were not taking, for some of you, right? Some of you, hey, I bought a package and that's all I've ever done. I haven't done anything else. I just bought a package. You may decide as the price elevates, hey, I want to take some profits down, right? Or, hey, I want to at least get my money back, right? My initial investment back. I think all of us, and I don't want to speculate. Like I said, I don't know, but this is just what I think. Everybody is going to have the opportunity, I believe, to be able to do that in the very near future. So get to this meeting tonight. We're starting to fill up finally. I mean, I have to talk a little nasty to you guys. Get there. I want you to understand what is coming. Plus, I'm going to be giving you opportunities to help continue to drive the price of Texas coin and Iskander coin even higher. Doesn't cost anything. No, do you have to put $9.95 or $89.55? No. It's just simply using the utility that we're going to be showing you tonight. If you have not RSVP, do it right now. Just call the 800 number, 800-951-0592. Tell us who you're bringing. Bring yourself. Bring your wife. Bring your friend. We don't care. We're going to feed you. I've got Eddie Allen. I'm talking, if you want to talk to a guy that is like right next to Bobby, it's Eddie Allen. He's going to be at the event today. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be very informative. I hope you RSVP. 800-951-0592. So last call here, guys. If you have not RSVP'd, of all the, and we've done a lot of these, some of them better than others. This will be different than any of the previous ones we've ever done. And I think it's going to be, I know I'm super excited, so I hope you guys are as well. So get out there. If nothing else, you get some free food, right? If nothing else, you get some free food. All of you out there that, hey, maybe you haven't even joined Texas Coin or have anything about it. If you want to go and just check it out, call an RSVP. Having said that, listen, we got a special guest today. And it's my fault. I will say this. I've been derelict in my duties and keep forgetting to reach out to JR. And, and he's asked me a bunch of times, Joe, let's just schedule a day. Like, pick a day and I'll just come on. I'm like, yeah, okay, well, I don't know. I'll get back to you. Yeah, I guess we probably, why make it simple? That's what I always say. But we have JR back. JR, happy Monday. I know you're going to be at the meeting tonight, but welcome back, and I'm glad you're able to join us today.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be with you guys. So while you were gone a couple weeks ago, Jason, I listened to the show. You should have had me on. I could have been your co-host, but you did great. I mean, the history, that's something that I'm not very well aware of. But the most important thing I came back with, Jack, your son Jack, Sophie Cunningham, let the two meet and see where that goes. That was the highlight of my week, was the fact that Jack might be a little picky on the height of Sophie Cunningham. Oh.
We had some fun with that, Joe, when you were gone.
You know what? I'm not surprised. But fun is good. Listen, got to have a little fun once in a while.
Apparently, Jack is not tall enough. She has a...
I think Sophie Cunningham's, at least for I guess, she's on the taller side of things.
She said that one of her standards is there has to be a taller man, and Jack is, I think, either slightly shorter than her or her height. So it's I guess he's a no-go. Maybe he's too young, too.
I will say this, because we did bring up, we are talking WNBA all the time now. But we talked about DeAndre, whatever, I forget her name, Carrington, the black player who tweeted out white privilege after she slapped Sophie Cunningham and got ejected. It's so funny is apparently Carrington, the black athlete, her dad was a former NFL player, apparently a good one, came from a very upbringing, right? Went to private school, went to college at Stanford, hardly a child of white privilege in any stretch of the imagination. And Sophie Cunningham, her parents struggled. She had to work jobs, on a farm in somewhere in like Missouri. Kind of funny, right? That the black athlete who had a very parents were very successful and had a what we would call a upper middle class upbringing is calling out for white privilege. But now, what does that have to do with the price of tea in China? Absolutely nothing. Before we get into this, quick look at the markets. The Dow's down almost 200. The S&P's down 7. The Nasdaq's up 40. The 10-year note going the wrong way, 471. Let's keep our eye on the Japanese 10-year. Yes, I know. We talk a lot about the Japanese. 293. I know you're like, what? Why wouldn't we pay more to borrow U.S. dollars than what Japanese pays to borrow yen? Well, let me just tell you this. This is like the equivalent of the U.S. 10-year note being like 7 or 8%, maybe even 9%. 3% 10-year note in Japan is considered pretty devastating. Crude oil is flat right now as nobody can really decide. Nothing's changed, okay? No, there's no deals. Nothing's open. Gold's up 50. No shock. 44.25. Almost 44.30. Silver, here it comes. Up $1.75. 66.35. I don't know how. I think sometimes I ask Jason, I'm like, are you sure the show's going out there? And I know it is because people, you would call and say, I can't get the show right, so I know you're listening. I have still a bunch of rolls of 1994 Silver Eagles at $1,500. And I'm sitting here, and I you know what? I was watching Bobby on the stand, so I didn't see that silver. Gold and silver were up, but gold was like $10. Silver was up like 50 cents. I didn't see this big move. I will say this: that will be less than a regular roll of Silver Eagles when I change the price. Because I got to change the price now. So $1,500. Well, listen, I never said I was the smartest gold dealer in the world. I may be the dumbest. But yes, 1994 Silver Eagles. Jason and I, we told, listen, the websites that had them wanted $129 a coin. A coin, $129. By the way, you want one coin? I got some individuals at 80. But just to give you an idea, they're saying they can sell 1994 rolls of Silver Eagles for $2,580. Now, I'll just sell them for $1,500. That's the difference. 800-951-0592. But I asked JR to join us today because what's been going on, not only with Iran, we've been talking at the end of last week about the problem with the Treasury and the U.S. debt. Matter of fact, we're something like less than $75 billion away now from $40 trillion. the United States Treasury had to team up with the Bank of Japan to try to save the yen, which doesn't look like it worked. Why? Because, well, Japan was like, well, if you don't help us, we'll have to sell even more U.S. debt. Then the Treasury had to announce, okay, debt's getting really big again. We got to increase the auction sizes. And if you remember at the end of last week, we had a 10-year auction on Wednesday, a 30-year auction on Thursday. Those were the two long-dated auctions last week, and they were terrible. To the point that there is now talk that the Treasury will have to lower the size of these longer-dated Treasury auctions because nobody wants to buy them. And already, right, we're rolling over so much short-term debt. Jason and I, we were telling you last week, every 2 years, we're going to be having to resell upwards of $25 to $30 trillion. And you think, well, gosh, the debt's only 40. Why so much? Well, because they've been loading it up all in short-term debt. And then Friday, the hammer came out, and who was it? Gosh, I may get it wrong. I want to say it was UBS. Could have been Deutsche. Maybe it was Deutsche Bank. Came out and said they are going to be the first non-Chinese bank to clear trades, and when they're talking about trade, they're talking about trade, actual trade, in renminbis. In other words, giving Europe the opportunity, because remember what we've been talking about, it was Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank is the one. All of the central banks around the world are all trying to do the same thing. Nobody disputes that they need to have some dollars. Nobody. What is being figured out is how can they hold the least amount possible. And JR had sent me a text, and it really kind of fits in with all of these things. So JR, share with us that text. You sent me that text last week, and then I was like, hey, why don't you come on Monday? Let's talk about this. What have you been seeing?
Well, everything going on. I mean, I've been saying I think there's an end game. I think that, we're going to have a reset. It seems to me like even though we can play games here, we can print all the money we want, we can keep this going. Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's within days now that we're going to tip over $40 trillion in our debt. So does that matter? I don't know. If it was 100, if it was 50, if it was 40, I don't know. But the rest of the world is tired of us. They have been for a long time. So I read this article last week. It was on August 13th from a publication called the End Time Headlines. The title being, Iran looks to ramp up with economic alliance with BRICS nations as war with U.S. drags on. So Iran has already joined the BRICS consortium. So they're already in the BRICS nations. Now what they're doing is they're joining a bank. There's a thing called the New Development Bank. And this is basically, they're getting rid of the SWIFT system. They're getting ready to not need the U.S. dollars. So when you talk about how every nation... I want to stop you right there, Jared,
because that's a really great point. Deutsche Bank made clear that this would be through the Chinese version of SWIFT and that they would not be using what I would call the United States version of cross-border trade, which is SWIFT. So this is starting to really get legs now. It was one thing for Chinese banks to do it. It's two separate things when they create a bank for it and then get a bank such as Deutsche Bank to say, yeah, we'll be first in doing it.
Yes. So it's definitely global. I mean, the common thread is they want the United States out of it. We've talked about Enbridge. We've talked about the unit. This has been going on for years. I think we're getting closer to an actual time that things are going to change around the world.
And what do you think is, I mean, do you agree, because I've been saying for a while now, hey, listen, nobody's saying we don't want to have any, Iran, Russia, there's a few countries, right, that say, yeah, we don't want dollars at all. But the vast majority of the countries out there are, at least in my mind, saying, hey, you know what? We just want something where we can hold less, right? And at the same time, as you talked about, any day now, we're going to break 40 trillion. And the sad part is, before 2035 rolls around, JR, we're probably going to be talking 80 trillion. And yet the rest of the world is trying to figure out a way to buy even less U.S. debt. When we get back, I want to hear your thoughts about the ramifications of all that. Stay with us.
No, sir. Yes, ma'am, back.
800-951-0592. Again, a big meeting tonight here in Phoenix. Texas Coin, Iskander Coin. And then Nectar Pay, one of our major Layer 2 verticals, is going to be out there. If you guys are struggling with your wallets, and by the way, I will say this too, it's another reason to come. Brand new wallets are going to be here in about a month. You will be able to order those today at the meeting. For everybody else, I'll announce it probably tomorrow or the next day, where you go to order. And these new wallets will hold everything. Texas Coin, Iskander Coin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and this and that, and blah, 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 crypto pop, and everything from under the sun, it seems like. So that is coming. But if you have questions, if you just want to hang out, come at 5:30. Let's have a cocktail. I'll introduce you guys to Eddie. The girls will be here. We want to get all your questions answered. Just RSVP if you can by calling here at the station. We're trying to make it to where I've got enough extra foods for like 10 more people. So if you weren't able to RSVP, come anyway. And it's right there, right inside the Deer Valley. So Deer Valley and 7th, go right into the parking lot. It's actually inside of the Deer Valley Airport, Barrio Brewing. And then again, remember, I've got these Silver Eagles that you know what? I know for a fact I can sell these back to the wholesalers and get more than $1,500 for them. I know it. I want you to have them. That's the thing.
Wholesale has the ability to find the customers that want these rolls that have the older years. For better or for worse, the Silver Eagle program is now a collectible coin in some realms. I still view it as a bullion coin, but these years, there's less of them, and there are people that want those older years, and you can buy it for the same price as a regular Silver Eagle, or you can just pass. But maybe if you can have Silver Eagles, why not have these?
Yeah, right. $1,500 for the roll. If you want it individual, they're $80 at 800-951-0592. So JR, before the break, JR is talking about Iran. And, of course, obviously the United States, right, we're going to, I don't know, apparently we've got even more tariffs of some kind, that we can use. And this is why, one of the big reasons why the rest of the world wants to hold less dollars is kind of this stuff, right? Well, if you don't do what we like, we're going to punish you and take your money, not let you trade, not let you use SWIFT. And now maybe the worst timing ever, because our debt is on full explosion. July's deficit alone, think about this, 1 month, no COVID. By the way, this included no Iran money, $423 billion in a single month. But JR, this is something I know you've been watching this quite a bit, right? Where you're seeing a lot of countries in the rest of the world putting away gold, trying to hold less dollars, and now Deutsche Bank, the first major non-Chinese bank in the world, to not only say the clear cross-border trades in renminbi, they also say we'll use the Chinese version of the SWIFT system. What kind of impact do you think this is going to have?
Well, I mean, you know, I'm never considered an optimist. I'm not a pessimist. I'm a realist. I mean, I'm trying to look at what's coming 5 years, 10 years, 20 years out. And quite frankly, we're not in it. I mean, you know, we've talked about stable coins and the Genius Act. We've talked about how this country has already started getting ready to be self-sufficient because we know the rest of the world is not going to put up with us. So our debt's going to tip. I mean, we're basically going to be closed off. You know, when I read this about Iran joining that bank, it was odd because I had also read that day about the United Arab Emirates giving money to Iran. So I started poking around a little bit, and when I read things on the surface, you know, I know what they feed us, then I try to think about how it really plays out. I want to read something I did a screenshot of. So this is just what ChatGPT says about UAE. It says here, financial transfers from UAE to Iran. The United Arab Emirates has reportedly agreed to release billions of dollars in frozen assets to Iran. This agreement is aimed at stopping Iranian attacks on the UAE. The total amount involved is estimated to be between $10 billion and $20 billion, with approximately $3 billion already delivered. So I thought we were partners with the UAE. They're giving billions of dollars to Iran. So in order for Iran to stop attacking them, that's great. What if this is another step that goes around the United States? What if this is another step to have Iran get strengthened economically as they're beefing up their role in the BRICS nations, and once again, we're not in it?
Interesting. This morning, Donald Trump said that if Oman, okay, so remember now, Oman's on the other side of the strait. They've been now working with the Iranians on fees, right? So I think the Iranians are in charge of the ships going in. Oman's supposed to be in charge of the ships going out. This morning, President Trump warned he's going to bomb them if they continue to work with the Iranians. So this kind of just, right? I mean, this is the pattern where even our quote-unquote allies in this region are kind of now saying, hey, you know what? You guys look like you're going to take your ball and go home. We're all ready to cut deals with Iran.
Yes.
I'm gonna go wait and see. It sure seems like that anything that goes on in that part of the world has to be rubber stamped by the United States military. Why do I get the feeling that a negotiation has been struck, and we have to have Iran be this enemy element? Because anytime we need to boost the price of oil for an inflative cycle, we can't have them be our friends. How come nobody talks about Venezuela anymore, JR? What about how the financial dealings going on between the United States and Venezuela? With the Maduro regime still sitting there.
I'm so glad you brought that up. Venezuela, over the weekend, said, hey, time to give us our gold back. 800-951-0592. And again, remember, tonight, 6 o'clock, Texan Iskander Nectar Pay. And I'm sure that the talk of it will be about the hearing that's going on right now. Very biased opinions out there on how poorly the state is doing, but we didn't expect much from them. Anyway, U.S. Silver Eagles, guys, I can tell you again, I have every single line available. Colorado. Rolls of 1994 Silver Eagles. Let's just call it, I don't know. Let's be kind. Okay, I know they want $129. Let's call it, they're $100. I'm going to give them to you for $75. I can't even sell a regular Silver Eagle today for, well, I could. I don't want to. Right? You know, last week I was telling you, hey, listen, it's $5 more. Now I'm telling you what, $5 less. 800-951-0592. So Jason's like, and I agree, right? This paralyzing thing with Iran, keeping oil prices elevated. You know, checking in on oil. Oil's, well, it's up a little bit now, but still mid-80s. Now, you're like, well, God, that's not horrible. I mean, mid-80s means $4.50 gas in Arizona. We were on our way to like mid-40s. Couldn't have that. We talked about, hey, they already know, okay, the avalanche of debt is going to show up here. Like the August, September, October, November, December, the monthly deficits are going to be enormous. August will be a little better because the way the calendar fell made July a little worse. But August is still going to be huge, huge. The question will be, how close to $42 trillion do we get by the end of this year? And think about it. Up until that horrible July number came out, we weren't even quite at $39 trillion yet. 2 weeks ago, we were like, well, it's almost $39 trillion. Now we're like, well, guess what? Any day now it's going to be 40. That's how fast it went. We see these auctions. And guys, it's not just us, right? JR, these look at the UK. The UK 10-year above 5%, almost 5.1. Right? Japan, we're talking about 3%. You know, for a while, Japan had negative interest rates. That's how insane these markets are. And we're talking about, you know, is there a way? What's the way out? And again, we told you, they only have one way, more debt. Now, the lip service we've gotten from the Trump administration is we're going to grow our way out of the problem. In other words, here's their logic, okay? If the deficit grows, and let's just say $2.5 trillion, we want GDP to have grown more than the $2.5 trillion, right? Here's the thing. How about you know what? This will make it easier. Let's go to $3 trillion, because that's probably what it's going to be next year. $3 trillion. Okay, debt's $3 trillion. They're trying to convince you, oh, well, we can grow faster than that. Do you know, for GDP to grow more than $3 trillion in a single year, you're talking about a GDP of near 10%. Do you know right now, so far for this year, GDP is 2%. JR, I mean, it's an idiotic statement, but yet they say it all the time, and then they use the cheerleading channels to tell you that it can be done, which obviously, if that could be done, we would already have an $80 trillion deficit, right? Because, well, it doesn't matter. We got a $100 trillion economy. I mean, it's almost idiotic in what it is that they're saying to us. And the funny part is they get the media to tell you that there's somehow a way to do it.
Well, and don't you think part of this, our nation, we're so dumbed down. I mean, I can't even imagine that people believe what they hear anymore. I mean, our country is struggling. You know, on my show, we talk a lot about current events and how they're going to affect your future. So we're talking a lot about flock cameras, robotics, data centers, AI, we're talking about everything being dramatically different in the upcoming years. You're talking about traditional things that we're supposed to be able to control. We have a Federal Reserve for a reason, which, by the way, isn't federal and has no reserves. I mean, the consumer is so dumbed down, they'll believe what they're told until the end when the government pushes the button and we have a grand reset. Or maybe not the government, maybe the overlords, maybe the New World Order comes in. I look at everything going on, and I'm startled that people aren't getting nervous. You are. Your listeners are aware. We are. We see it. We're going to be collateral damage to the changes. So I don't know, but football's coming up, so who cares about all this?
That's right. Maybe in Arizona we got a chance, right? Because the Cardinals are going to be, they're going to be the Cardinals. So we get excited for football season, and then usually by week 4 or 5, I'm sitting there going, let's just lose every game, right? Let's lose every game so we can get the best pick possible. But when we get back, Venezuela's government that is in power, and I didn't even know they had it, and the opposition have teamed up.
Big surprise.
What is it that they want to do? It's got to do with gold. I'll tell you about that when we get back. 800-951-0592. Again, RSVP to the meeting tonight. 6 o'clock, Barrio Brewing. Come early with questions. Come early and let's have a drink together. How's that? I'll be there at 5:30. We'll eat from 6 to 6:30, meeting 6:30 to 8, and then everyone can be on their way. U.S. Silver Eagles, again, 1994 is $1,500. Very quickly, maybe even in Venezuela. I don't know, maybe everyone is on the same side. Apparently, the Venezuelan Maduro government and the opposition issued a joint statement confirming they are working to recover Venezuela's international reserve asset held at the Bank of England. Venezuela saying, hey, it's time that you give us our gold back. They have about $4 billion worth of gold. The UK, about 31 tons, still refusing to do it. I mean, probably because they don't have it to give them, would be my guess. But at least everybody in Venezuela is uniform. Yep, we want it back. But, JR, the Treasury Secretary just issued, and I want to share this with everybody, and it looks like they are now back with the Genius Act, calling on Congress to deliver the Genius Act, establishing framework and clear rules, ready for this, of the road for payment stable coins and treasuries, and move quickly to implement that framework. So what does this mean? Well, it means the Treasury's like, we don't have enough people to buy all this debt. In the Genius Act, part of the thing is they're going to allow these stable coins to stick around, right, because digital money is coming. But, JR, the one thing they've got to do is buy U.S. Treasuries.
And they are. On steroids. And how many people know that?
Yes. Well, and so now Tether, you got to remember, now Tether is the stable coin kind of for everything, but it's still got a dollar stable coin. But most of the world uses Tether. Here in the U.S., we use Circle, USDC. Tether has agreed that they won't have gold as part of their U.S. Treasury stable dollar, but they're going to use gold everywhere else. But again, I guess, guys, are they going to get stable coins to buy $40 trillion worth of U.S. debt? Because that's what we're going to do here in the next 8 to 10 years. I know they can take some of it, Jason, but yeah, I don't know exactly how much they're going to be able to do.
That's why cryptos are going to be an interesting space to be in for a while, and I don't think it ends well, but that doesn't mean it's going to be a place to avoid in the next months and years to come. So that's why we kind of dipped our toe in, because you know what? I don't make the rules, but if I find a strategy, I should go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. 800-951-0592. JR, thank you so much. We didn't even get to JR and his other money show, but JR, really quickly, can you come back next Monday?
Sure, I'll make a point of it.
There you go. By the way, another money show. Another money show. That's how you find JR. They're all over the social medias. God bless everybody.